So this is the second part of the export documentation. In first part we have discussed the commercial document, and in this lecture I will cover the legal documents. Now what is the purpose of the legal documents? Earlier I have told you that both the exporter as well as the importer countries, they have to comply with the rules and regulations that is prevailing in their countries. It is applicable for the exporter as well as the exporter applicable for the importers also. Now these legal documents will help both the exporter and importer to demonstrate that they have complied with the rules and regulations. Now these legal documents can be classified under two categories. One is the documents required by the exporter, another is the documents required by the importers. Now here you should remember one thing: these documents are required by the importers, but the exporters have to provide these documents. The importers, at the time of entering into the contractual agreement with the exporter, they will clearly mention what are the documents needed by him, and exporter is supposed to provide all those documents. So again I am repeating that documents required by the exporter as well as the importers, and the documents which are required by the importers will be provided by the exporter. Let us see uh, what are the documents that is required by the exporter. The legal documents which are required by the exporter may be classified under two categories. One is a registration specific document, another one is the shipment specific document. Now what are the registration specific document? I have told you these documents include what are the documents are required to become an exporter or to register as an exporter. Now in the export procedure also I have mentioned that the two things are very important. One is the exporter importer code number, or you can say the IEC number. Another one is the registration company membership code number, that is in short it is known as the RCS. Okay, so these two are the documents which are mandatory for the exporter. In fact, any future correspondence with the exporter, IEC number of the exporter should be always mentioned. It is something like that. All of you have got the roll number, and similarly all the exporters should have required IEC number. Now let us see what are the shipment specific documents that is needed by the exporter. Now shipment specific documents, this includes AR4 or AR4A forms, GR forms, PP forms, Softex form, and the shipping bill. Now we will discuss one by one the importance of this different types of forms. Out of this, the most important is the shipping bill. Most important is the shipping bill, because shipping bill is the prime document which is necessary for the customs clearance. Okay, how to get the customs clearance, that I have already covered in the export procedure. Now let us see what are the shipment specific documents. The shipment specific documents includes the GR form. See, GR form, it is basically the declaration form wherein the exporters give the declaration that they will realize the entire export value within a stipulated period of time. And this period of time is basically 180 days. That means they will declare, suppose the what is the value of the goods, say it is a 50 lakhs, as I already told you, say it is a 50 lakhs. Okay, they will give the declaration, this 50 lakhs they will recover for the importers within a 180 days period of time. Now this GR form is applicable for all kinds of goods, but this is not applicable in the case of the PP, goods which are to be exported by means of post parcel. So any sort of goods which are not exported by means of the post parcel will be required GR form, and the goods which require PP form, that means those goods which are exported by means of post parcel, they require PP form. Next, another form is Softex form. In the case of export of the software, the exporter needs software forms. Next, the VPPA and COD forms. COD means the cash on delivery. Okay. Next is the AR4 and AR4A forms. Now, I have told you that in order to get the excise clearance, two forms are needed, either AR4 or AR4A forms. Now, there are the two rules that exported goods excise duty need not to be paid, or that is export goods duty may be paid, but this may be refund afterwards. Okay, that means first one is the known as the export under port. That means there is no need of payment of duty. And there are other category of the goods which are to be exported under rebate. In this case, the exporter first pay the goods duty, and then thereafter they can get the refund of the duty that they have paid. Now, let us see the shipping bill. As I have already told you, that shipping bill is the most important legal documents for the exporters. Now, the customs gives permission for the export in the case of by means of shipping bill. It is a multi-purpose document used for the clearance of the goods and for claiming the duty drawback and other export incentive. Remember, the purpose of shipping bill is twofold. The first thing, it helps to get the clearance of the goods, and secondly, also helps to get incentive from the government. Okay, now these are the contents of the shipping bill, and after shipping bill is prepared, the shipping bill is to be submitted to the customs office. Shipping bill will be verified by the customs office. Accordingly, they will put a stamp late export. Thereafter, it will be submitted to the dock appraiser and they will stamp it as late ship. Thereafter, it will be the goods will be loaded onto the ship and a mate receipt will be issued. And based on the mate receipt, they will get the bill of lading that I have already discussed in the case of commercial document. Now, what is the importance of the shipping bill? As I have already told you, the shipping bills are required to get customs clearance. Without shipping bill, you cannot get customs clearance. Second one is obtaining the incentive. After export is over, that means they have dispatched the goods to the importer countries. What the exporter has to do, they will claim the incentive from the competent authority, and for this getting this incentive from the competent authority, they have to submit a copy of the shipping bill. Next is the loading of the goods. I have already told you this loading of the goods. Before this, you have to obtain the permission from the customs authority. Next is the appraising the value of the goods. Customs, they will check either physically or by means of documents whether the value of goods declared is as same as the actually the goods that is exported. And for the recording and the filing purpose, this is for the future correspondence or future reference in case there is any requirement regarding the claiming or whatever it is. Now, let us see legal documents. These documents are needed by the importers, but documents to be provided by the exporter. The two most important legal documents that are needed by the importers are consular invoice and there is the certificate of origin. There are other types of documents also that are needed by the importer, but the two most important documents that I am going to discuss here, that is the consular invoice and the certificate of origin. Now, consular invoice, it is the certification of the goods by consulate of the importing country indicating that importers have fulfilled all the procedures and licensing formalities for the import of the goods. Now see, who is issuing this consular invoice? This consular invoice is issued by the consulate office of the importing authority. As for example, if Italy is the importer, then the consular invoice will be issued by the consulate office of Italy in India, and they will clearly mention that the importers has fulfilled all the procedural and the licensing formalities as far as the import of the goods is concerned. Now, consular invoice, it is not like that. It is necessary each and every country. Consular invoice is required by certain countries, and the name of the countries are Kenya, Tanzania, Mauritius, New Zealand, Iraq, Australia, etc. They need consular invoice. This consular invoice is the most important document which needs for submitted for the certification to the embassy for the importer countries concerned. Now, this consular invoice, the importing countries make it is mandatory for the importers that they have to submit the consular invoice at the time of importing of the goods. Next, significance of the consular invoice for the exporter as well as the importer. See, first is the quick clearance of the goods. If the consular invoice is there, the clearance of the goods is very easy by the customs. And secondly, exporter also assured of getting payment from the importing country. And importer is also assured that the goods imported are not banned for imports. Okay. Now, next is the certificate of origin. Now, certificate of origin, it is also not required by all the countries. It is required by few countries. And what is the purpose? The purpose is that it is required when the goods produced in a particular country are subject to preferential tariff rates in the foreign markets, or the goods in a particular country are banned from import in the foreign market. Suppose, let us consider X is the country, X is the importing country, right? Now, country X does not want any item to be imported from country Y. Okay, so in that case, but they are ready to get the goods from the country Z. So in that case, they will ask the country Z to clearly mention that the goods are produced by the country Z. It is not like that Z is exporting the goods after importing the goods from the country Y, because under any circumstances, country X is not willing to accept the goods from the country Y. This is the contents of the certificate of origin. Okay, and you can see the the most of the cases you can say the seal of the issuing authority, and it is clearly mentioned that the who is the origin, that means where the goods is produced. Now next, the third category of the documents, these documents are needed for claiming the incentive. Okay, these documents are needed for claiming the incentive. Now let us see the claiming the duty drawback application is made to collector of central excise. As I have already told you that there are certain assistance are given to the exporters, because exporters are taking the risk in exporting the goods. And what is the incentive or assistance that is given to the exporters? It is basically that they can get the refund of the excise as well as the customs duty. And for this purpose, they have to file the duty drawback application. And while filing the duty drawback applications, they have to submit the following documents: original copy of the AR4 forms, duty attested copy of the bill of lading. Bill of lading, naturally it cannot be the original, because original bill of lading will be sent to the importer, because without this original bill of lading, importers cannot take the delivery of the goods. So original bill of lading should be sent to the importers via bank. Next, the duly attested copy of the shipping bill. Okay, and this should be the Export Promotion Council. And the last is the disclaimer certificate in the case of claimer is other than exporter. See, it is quite possible that the manufacturers may not be the exporters. So in that case, they have to give the disclaimer certificate. So this is all about the export documentation. What we have studied here, we have studied what is the importance of the export documents, and what are the various types of export documents. Export documents again classified under three categories. Commercial documents, these are used for the commercial perspective. Legal documents, these are used by the people for both the exporter and the importer. And these documents are needed to demonstrate that all the rules and regulations are complied. And third is the documents which are required for the claiming the incentive. Okay, so this is all about the export documentation. In the next class, I will discuss regarding the what are the risks involved and what are the payment terms and conditions from the exporter. Okay, all the best.